Surprise! It's Donald John Trump, President of America's great United States. And I'm taking a break to be in your film. So let's get started. We have these fantastic questions over here. And I'm combining these two to start with, okay? Describe in detail why you liked or didn't like the show. And if you had to convince someone to watch Deep Space Nine, how would you describe it? Well, if I had to convince anyone to watch anything, I'd just describe The Apprentice. Very popular, I don't know if you know this. But then you'd have a huge nosedive in ratings when people realize it's not that. So, if I'm being honest, I'd say it's a show that's all-consuming. And believe me, it's not a good thing. Too complicated. You can't multitask when it's on, which I have to do in my job as businessman and also president. Its unpredictability means I can't go tweet or use the bathroom, assuming characters will behave and events unfold in typical ways while I'm gone. So when I get back, I'm lost. Very embarrassing. Look, I like television as comforting background to my life. Not yet another task requiring concentration. I got enough of that. It's morally complex here, so you don't always know who to root for. For example, our heroes are divided on whether the Federation was right to commit genocide against the founders. Personally, I don't get that. I mean, even if you have to kill innocent civilians, you gotta do whatever it takes to beat ISIS or North Korea. Some of these minority rights protesters we have here at home. I mean, I don't like to do it, but I like to be able to do it, if that makes sense. Look, all this heady stuff is why I prefer J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Doesn't overthink. It always satisfies the old bloodlust. I mean, they yell, fire! And they machine gun like 100 photon torpedoes in 20 seconds. Beautiful. Talk about taking the gloves off the military. I love it. Another problem with the show is his characters are not believable. First of all, a black captain who didn't ruin the station with his incompetence. Then there's the fact he takes forever to get over his dead wife. And when he gets a new one, it's not a trophy wife. He has all that power and doesn't know how to use it. Even lets his son find his own way. I mean, my dad did not do that, and I don't either, okay? The writers call Cisco a builder. Cisco's a builder! So, I thought maybe he's modeled after me. But, I don't know if you know this, but I actually build physical structures. He doesn't. And he makes no money from it. Just takes pride in helping, I think. I don't know what he's doing. Doesn't take advantage of beautiful women who work for him. Actually consults with Jadzia Dax and Kira as equals. Watches two uglier guys, Odo and Worf, aliens on top of it, swoop in and steal him right under his nose like a chump. I wouldn't have let that slide. I don't even let Jared take Ivanka away for more than 2 weeks. You kidding me? I don't trust that guy. Worst of all, Cisco was a disaster for Deep Space Nine's economy. He oversaw its decline from a thriving ore processing plant that made good use of Bajoran labor. Just like Crooked Hillary wanted to get rid of good cold jobs, right? Now some people say it was no fun for the Bajorans, who were slaves. But when they let them run wild, they resorted to looser acts of terrorism, causing big trouble for the station's occupying Cardassians. I mean, some of these guys are working far away from home, but still working very hard. Not fair to them. Under Cisco's tenure, Deep Space Nine became a sanctuary city, offering amnesty to political dissidents and refugees, welcoming illegals and non-human species. Very risky stuff. Even on a personal level, Cisco showed respect for a weaker power in Bajor, if you can call it a power. I mean, they were colonized, but never colonized anyone. At least show the rest of the prison inmates you can beat someone up. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Dog-eat-dog. Anyway, his interest in Bajoran culture shows what a traitor to Earth he was. Maybe a secret to Bajoran the entire time. Who knows? Very bad example to our youth on Adelaide. Look, if I'd been hired to bring Bajor into the Federation, I'd have gotten something in return. Maybe there's orbs of the prophets they're always ranting and raving about. Then you sell them back to him at a markup. Because they value your crap the most, right? Would have been the smart thing. Would have been the smart thing. The craziest thing of all is the series ends with Kira in command. A woman in charge? Totally ridiculous. Even if she's their most popular leader, it's unacceptable. I mean, don't they have an electoral college? Next question. How did you feel about the show taking place on a space station instead of a starship? Whoever wrote this is my kind of guy. The space station makes it boring, quite frankly. Just stuck in one place. Not moving ahead like a shark to avoid dealing with the consequences of one's actions. What kind of life is that? Imagine if Kirk stuck around to deal with all the broads he knocked up. No fun at all. Lots of whining. Look, I've got lawyers to deal with all the women trying to force me to admit paternity. Talk about harassment. You telling me this test can't be faked? Let me just say something. It's very cruel the way women try to hold you back from your destiny. Very cruel. Next question. Who's your favorite character and why? Well, I got a lot to say about this. As a species, I like the Ferengi. As a species. Just let the Federation pay for Alpha Quadrant security, which our allies are making us do, by the way, and just focus on trade that grows Ferenginar's economy. Very smart people. They don't let their women run rampant on equal rights either. Always naked at home? Sounds good to me. And the rules of acquisition? That's spiritual advice I can get behind. While everyone else is following the Bible, Quran, Old Testament, whatever, like sheep, you get to jump on them with these great tips. Now, of all the characters, Grand Negasek is my favorite. But he was too gracious when he taps his lap and says to Kira, have a seat. He should have grabbed her by the... Look, I'm not going to say it. It's a family show, so I'm not going to say it. But kids, you know what I'm talking about. You pointing to each other's you-know-what's in the playground since you were little, so I'm not going to say it. But let me just say, kids are very smart these days. Anyway, Zek starts out appropriately ruthless, treating females, I love the way he says that, females and underlings as they deserve, even his idiot son. But then the writers ruin it by forcing their idealistic notions on him. Have him fall for a non-trophy girl. Again with the non-trophy. Who's good at business. I got rid of my first wife, Ivana, for exactly that. And he not only puts up with it, I get the impression he likes it, values it. Very emasculating. Lots of respect for him. And maybe you're thinking, Donald, who cares about minor characters? What about the big shots? Okay. So, of the main cast, Quark is the only one with real drive. While everyone else is focused on good works, finding the Dominion, peace, even friendship, this guy's working smart. Racking up a profit however he can. I mean, especially at the start of the series. Very impressive guy. Then I don't know what happened. Politically correct suits got involved or something. Became way too nice, especially to his idiot brother Rom. My family did not turn out that way, okay? My nice guy, big brother Fred Jr., was good to the tenants in our building. Replaced their windows for free. But that ticked Dad off and got me promoted instead. Dad and I always treated Freddie as a loser for becoming an airline pilot. What's the difference between you, Freddie, and a bus driver? We thought it'd make him a killer like us. Instead, it sent him spiraling faster. Became alcoholic. Lost his pilot job and died a janitor in one of my buildings, actually. But we had to pick on him. He had to seem like a loser, so I'd look like a winner. You had to go, Freddie. It was either you or me. Either you or me. Of the bad guys, I like Gul Dukat's style. Looks like a leader, first of all, unlike some Captain Sisko's. Great physical presence. I mean, the way he walks, amazing. And that voice, confident. But he showed weakness in his love for a Bajoran woman and their mixed-race daughter. My dad would not have approved, and I don't either. Bad idea to mix the races. Don't do it, kids. Don't do it. I not only share Dukat's sexual appetites, but his lust for revenge and domination of others. He breaks free of know-it-all jerks telling him what to do. That's what happened with Obsidian Order and Central Command officials who looked down on him, and later on with advisors like Weyun, appointed by the new Dominion establishment to keep him in check. He thinks for himself, okay? Takes risks. Actually made a deal with the Dominion so they'd make him ruler over his people. Just like one might make a deal with the Russians to win the American presidency, and will get around to making America great again after he settles their debts. Boy, those hang around. Wall Street bankers got nothing on the Russian mafia. At least that's what I hear. That's what I hear. In the end, Ducat makes a deal with the closest thing to the devil to rule over the universe, selling out all peoples, including his own. What ambition, huh? How could you not love this guy? Next question. What effect has binge watching had on the show? Well, DS9 was my brother Freddie's favorite Star Trek. I'm a Voyager man myself. He'd rave about what happened every episode. So I actually feel like I watched it weekly. Didn't binge watch. But I'm sure binge watching will bring in a new generation. Especially if it's remastered to high definition. Right? It's like the latest thing. I don't know if you know this, but my buddy at CBS, Les Moonves, didn't mind me winning the American presidency because of all the profits the campaign brought him in ad revenue and the ratings I'm bringing in now. He can help remaster my brother Freddie's favorite show, I'm sure. So get to it, Les. Make Deep Space Nine great again. You like that? I knew you would. Okay. Last question. All good things got to come to an end. All good things. Part of our documentary will discuss a theoretical Season 8 episode. If the show continued, what would you hope to see? Well, the only thing I'd really like to see is Quark take over the station and make Kira a Dabo girl. And that's not an insult, because she'd be very nice to look at, I think. Shame to waste a body like that behind a desk. Could use a nose job. Then, with her out of the way, and since they got rid of that terrible leader, Sisko, at the end of Season 7, now there's room for fresh leadership. And since Sisko's ascended to a higher plane, I prefer to think of him as dead, by the way. Abandoned his son, too, which I hate to say a lot of his kind do. Hate to say it. He's not coming back. Sisko won't be there to embarrass that new leader, tweeting and speaking out against his policies, constantly drawing comparisons to how much better things used to be by an ungrateful media, an elite minority of the public. Makes it hard to leave. Sisko's always hanging around. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Well, that's it. This is my brother Freddie's model of the Defiant. And you're welcome.